I know why you're here. You overpaid for a 91 Miata. Yeah, you found out it had a short nose crank, and your keyway is all stripped out now, or your head gasket is blown, or you're just really sick of having no power anywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty much all of this.
Yeah. Essentially what happened is this guy, his head gasket blew in this 91, and he decided to just 1.8 swap it. Maybe with a little bit of influence from that guy.
Yeah, 1.8s are definitely a lot better. They don't have the nose problems or the front of the crank problems as the 1.6s. They're easier to find, and after you do the swap, the engines cost about the same.
Yeah. So we figured we'd show you guys how to do this swap, because it's a pretty common one, I guess, right? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people get rid of the 1.6s.
I don't know. We're talking to that's the Miata guy right there. I'm just here for the ride.
I used to be the CRX guy.
Yeah, well, he's the CRX and Miata guy, and now soon to be Porsche guy. So, all right, let's get this started, I guess.
So you're gonna need some parts for your 1.8 swap. And probably the most important ones, at least in my opinion, this is the Flying Miata 1.6 to 1.8 swap kit. They have a bunch of different stuff on their website to sort out what it is. Throttle body bracket and engine mounts, engine mount brackets, other little clamps and stuff. This is actually for a coolant sensor that goes into the radiator hose. Definitely a good one that you're gonna want. This one is a Super Miata coolant reroute kit. You'll see a lot of it when we put it together. But this actually routes the coolant from the back of the cylinder head instead of from the front of the cylinder head. It helps with overheating. This is a 1.8 alternator because I almost never trust junkyard alternators. And the 1.6 alternator is different than the 1.8. It has a different pulley on it. If you want to try to swap pulleys, go for it. It's just easier to buy a alternator. Timing belt water pump kit, because why not? We're there. This is
optional.
Yeah, this is all stuff that we're doing because why the fuck not? This is a complete gasket kit. It was actually cheaper to buy the complete kit than buying each gasket individually, so I just went with a complete kit. Flywheel and clutch, because it's got 140,000 miles on this thing, so the training's got to come off anyways. We're good. Down here, we have the last thing, which is a header, because the exhaust manifold on the 1.6 is different. A radiator, because, again, we don't want to overheat anymore. And last is a cat, because the header doesn't meet up the same as the 1.6 cat. So next thing we got to do is rip this engine out.
So things didn't go quite as smooth as we were hoping, but it still came out in like about an hour and a half. So probably could have got it down to an hour if things didn't fight us a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, we like to do the subframe method just because it's so much easier than trying to pull it out the top.
Yeah, and you know, if you guys don't have like a hydraulic cart or something like this, you could just lower it down onto jack stands or something like that, I guess. Well, I guess you need a lift then too, huh? But there's
Yeah.
this cool place that you can go.
It's
in
called
Tucson,
U-Wrench.
Arizona, called U-Wrench, and you can rent a lift and tools, and you could do all this here.
Yeah, and if it was an hour and a half of time to do this, it would cost you, what,
God, come on.
$45? It's pretty good. All right, so this is the engine that we were talking about, the 1.8, and we got this from actually a like engine importer or whatever in Phoenix. It's called Downshift Auto Parts. Yeah, Downshift Auto Parts. Very nice guys. They were very helpful and everything for getting the engine. This is a 1.8 out of a 94 to 97 Miata, which is the same body style as this one, just the 1.8. You can do 1.6, or I mean not 1. The 1.8s out of a 99 or newer. They just require more stuff. They have, you know, different electronics and stuff like that on the NB engines, the 99 and up. So we went with the easier route, just because he is a college kid, so we're already breaking the bank a little bit. But yeah, we're just gonna start putting all of our new parts on before we swap it over to the subframe. I haven't done, well, I don't think I've actually done a 1.8 swap. I've done many Miata engines, but it's all been the same engine into the same car. So I looked up a lot of stuff. We're gonna figure it out as we go along. I'm just gonna start swapping over stuff and we'll see where we go from there. I know we have to take this off because we have to use the coil packs from the other one because it doesn't have the same connectors. I guess I'll just take it all the way out. There you go. Hitting that backwards is essentially how you make these easier to put in. Oh, yes. So now I'm just getting the timing roughly where it needs to be, but I'm gonna take off the cam gears so that we could do the cam seals behind them. Also, it makes it easier to do the water pump, and then we're gonna do the crank seal as well. We'll clean up some of that gunky shit, and then we will put everything back together with new parts. I always like to pack them with grease, and you know, sure, it helps it slide on better, but it always helps that little metal spring in there. I don't know if you can see it, but the little metal spring in there always gives it like a little bit extra to just stay in instead of flopping out. New thermostat housing goes on the back of the engine, thermostat housing cover. These two are different options. One goes on the end of the original thermostat housing, which is here. So this one would go here, and essentially that's for any sensors you want to do or any of that stuff, which thinking about it, maybe we'll do that. Because it does have the fan switch that goes in the front that we got, the one that was RTV when we took it all apart. So I might do that, which means I put this one back on. But if you're going to be operating it differently or putting stuff in a different area, or you want it just to be nicer, this one covers right there. So then under the timing covers and everything is sealed. You want to keep the connectors and the sensors for the 1.6. With the Flying Miata adapter bracket, the throttle body adapter bracket, the bottom two holes, you're going to have to drill and tap your own holes. So I already used a scribe to go in there and circle the inside. And then I'm going to take this off, punch the center of it, and then do my drill. And we got to figure out, I think I know the size of the bolts that they sent with it, but they sit flush behind that way. The new, or the 1.6 throttle body will fit on it. Looking at the 1.6 covers, they do look slightly different, so I just don't feel like taking them off and bringing them over here to confirm that they look different. Unfortunately, it's going to get the ugly covers. Time to put it back in. New headers on it. I don't think we've forgotten anything. You weren't part of most of this. Did we forget anything?
What are you talking about? I did the whole thing. All right, don't let the fucking movie magic fool you guys. I did this whole thing, and Brandon was just in the bathroom texting the whole time. But it's ready to go back in now.
Just because it happens all the time doesn't mean it happened this time.
Look at that EGR hole, dude.
No.
It's all done, dude.
Yup.
That's it. Perfect.
In.
Yeah, we
Check it out. It's so done, dude. It's all
Oh my god. Yeah. So
done.
one thing that I didn't find on any of the stuff I looked up for this swap is that the OEM intake, which is this, doesn't work.
Well, it's a combination of this throttle body spacer and the new fat radiator. So maybe if you
Also-
only had one or the other.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
The 1.6 intake manifold makes the throttle body point downward slightly. So if you look, this going straight, right? This is pointed downward slightly. So since that points straight, it literally pushes it towards the radiator and the fan, so it won't work.
So messed up, dude.
I wish I would have known that before we took on this endeavor, so that we didn't have to go through the bolt bin and forgotten.
These aren't
stuff.
bolts, Brandon.
Well, they were in the bolt bin.
These
Leftover
were
pulp bin, or leftover.
leftover pult bin.
No, it's pulp.
Great video, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and comment and subscribe about the pulp bin. We're gonna finish this up, I guess, with this JDM Sport leftover nonsense. And I don't know, any other.
I mean, it's done. Like we got the wires hooked up, we got the exhaust hooked up, the transmission's all hooked up. We just won't have it running for the video. I don't know. Do you want to say
It's a
that?
lie. It's gonna be running.
It's not gonna be running.
He's gonna be running. We're gonna get you guys a clip of it running.
Whatever.
Right? You didn't watch this whole thing for a not running car.
They did.
Okay, you did. Make sure you hit that thumbs down.
Show us we got some haters.